First story. Entitled OP canceled her stepson's 13th birthday because he facepalmed her. So, the grandparents berated her deservingly. She canceled the celebration anyway. Then, she celebrated her daughter's birthday just a few days apart. So, the grandparents threw a party themselves. Now, she intends to take all his presents as punishment. I married my husband 2 years ago, and my relationship with my stepson 12 has never been good. We tried everything, but nothing seemed to work. His behavior towards me is so terrible. He shouts at me, swears at me, and calls me the worst mother ever. His 13th birthday is tomorrow, and since my daughter's 7th birthday is only 10 days apart, we usually celebrate them both on the same day. They are fine with it. I asked my stepson who he had invited, and that's when he facepalms, makes gestures, and tells me that he has already answered this question before, in the worst tone ever. This is where I lost it, and told him that, because of his attitude, I was going to cancel his birthday tomorrow. At first, he didn't believe me since it's not the first time I intend to punish him without actually doing it in the end. But this time I was serious, and to prove it to him, I called his grandparents and told them his birthday got canceled. He started crying, begging me not to cancel, but I told him it was too late. I got berated by his grandparents because of this, and they told me that I don't have the right to cancel his birthday. As his mother, I am pretty sure I can do what I want, but they weren't listening to me. They even told me that tomorrow they were coming to his birthday with the gifts, even after I told them not to bother because I wouldn't open the door. AITA here? Edit. Facepalm award? Really? OP was unsurprisingly voted as being in a hole in the original post. Here are some of her replies. Deleted user. I'm being a jerk to a child. Am I the arsehole? YTA. OP. This is not my intention at all. I just want him to start respecting me. Uthaping Paris. How long have you been in his life? Where is his father? Where is his biological mother? Does he see you as a mom? It seems he doesn't, but he should respect you as a parental figure. You've played soft with him all this time, but most importantly, where is the boy's father? He should be disciplining the child. OP. How long have you been in his life? I have been in his life for 3 years, although the first year I wasn't spending so much time with him. Where is his father? He's a doctor, and had to go to another city for a month. Where is his biological mother? She's mentally unstable and has not seen her child for almost a year now. Does he see you as a mom? By the way, he is acting no. Unfortunately, he does not. OP. I am really hurt by what you just said. You know nothing about me. His father is away most of the time, and I am the one taking care of him. I spend more time with his son than both his father and biological mother combined, yet you dare tell me that I am a pathetic excuse of a mother. Shame on you. Edit. The fact that people are agreeing with what you just said is honestly so sad. You guys really think you know all our life stories based on this post I made. You are free to judge me, as I have made this post for that. But stop assuming things you don't know. Edit. Thank you, Maud. Shame on me. You canceled his birthday party because you couldn't remember the names. You canceled his party because of something you did. Canceling his party is a horrible overreaction, and that poor kid told you the names. Why didn't you remember them? If you are as great a mother as you call yourself, why couldn't you remember a couple of names? If you wanted to punish him for simply facepalming, that's already bad enough. But canceling the whole birthday party, shame on you. I wonder if you would have reacted the same if your daughter had been facepalmed. I think not. OP. If she was also disrespectful before, then yes, I would. I didn't punish my son only for the facepalm. Despite knowing him for only 3 years, believe it or not, I love them both equally as much. Also, your comment, as his mom, I can do whatever I want. Yes, you can. But don't be surprised if he cuts contact at 18. OP, have you read my post? Honestly now, as I have clearly stated how he has been terrible with me for 2 years straight. You missy scribbles. Info. What did his dad say when you told him you had made this decision? OP, he just called me not too long ago, and is against it. His birthday party will most likely not get cancelled anymore after the arguments I had with him, and my son's grandparents, and the lack of NTA, comments here. But it might have to be postponed due to me not arranging things on time and other issues. I will still take his presents as a punishment, and give them back to him once he behaves, and hopefully I am taking the right action with this. UDRity. You are really bad at parenting. OP. I only started parenting him 2 years ago. Until then, I was parenting my daughter, who still respects me and is overall an adorable little girl. I don't think I was the one who failed here. Edit. Alright, I had enough. Starting now, offensive awards are going to be hidden. Update. A lot of you have DM'd me for an update. And since things are getting better between me and my son, I decided to let you know how things are going. Since many of you have called me an arsehole, and after the conversation I had with my husband and his parents, I realized that I did indeed overreact, and I shouldn't have made such a harsh punishment. Some of you suggested that if his attitude persists, I should find other ways to punish him, like not allowing him on the laptop, letting him do some housework, etc. And I will start doing these sorts of punishments if needed. Unfortunately, due to me not contacting his friends on time, his birthday party still didn't happen on his birthday. It was postponed 2 days later, but my daughter still got to celebrate her birthday on that day. My son was obviously really upset, and in the morning he came to me and was on the verge of crying, asking me if I had actually canceled his birthday party. I told him that unfortunately, his friends already made plans, but if he behaves, I will still do his birthday after 2 days. Surprisingly, he was really polite with me these days, probably because he really wanted his birthday party. But I am really happy to see that he stopped raising his voice at me and stopped with these rude gestures such as face palming. His grandparents were also really upset with me, and they ended up arranging the party for him instead, saying I was too irresponsible. Both birthday parties ended up being successful, and until now I still haven't had any severe arguments with him, and I am really happy with the way things are going. Thank you to everyone who sent me DMs to support me and provide me tips, especially the stepmothers who are going through similar problems. Edit. I am extremely disappointed in the way things are turning out in the comments. I wrote this update post because you guys were interested in seeing how things came out in the end, and I was more than happy to update you guys. Is this the respect I am getting back? When writing your comments, please take a moment to think before clicking on the submit button, or else I will no longer be interacting with this thread. Edit 2. Alright, I can't anymore. This is just too much for me to handle. I will come back in an hour or two. You guys clearly don't know how to act civil, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thread gets locked soon. Edit 3. Screw you to the anonymous user who just awarded me, wishing that me and my daughter die. I get that you still think I am the arsehole here, but this is not a competition on which one of us can be the bigger one. You should be ashamed of yourself. Some of OP's replies from that post. AITA For. YTA. I can imagine that being a step-parent to a preteen is a really big challenge, but from what I've read in your previous post, and this one, your focus seems to be on punishing this child into behaving without caring to understand where the behavior is coming from. This boy does not need punitive punishment. He needs you to listen and connect with him. Do some reading, listen to some podcasts, and change your perspective. OP. I am aware of where this behavior is coming from, and I can sort of understand him. Unfortunately, he gets little time and attention from his biological mother and father, and this obviously affects him emotionally, and I have already told my husband this. I am trying my best to be a mother for him, but it's just so difficult with the little support I have from my husband and his parents. You misillusion. YTA. I really don't think you are understanding what everyone is trying to tell you. This kid hasn't seen his mother in a year, and now his father has left him behind with a virtual stranger for a month. This kid is hurting and probably feels abandoned, and he's taking it out on the one person he can. Guess what? All kids do this for their safety. Apparently he thought that was you, and it turns out he was wrong. As you showed him, you are definitely not understanding nor compassionate. He had an emotional reaction to a comment, and you blew it out of proportion. He probably won't feel safe being himself around you, and will be fearful of your reaction. You shouldn't be parenting out of fear. This kid needs kindness and understanding. I find it surprising that you managed to pull off your daughter's party, but were unable to do the same for him. God, what a mess. I'd seriously consider ensuring he has a counselor to talk to. Parenting is about being a safe place for your kids. They will say SHTTY things to you. It's your job to be patient and kind, yet set boundaries over their emotions, while still understanding that their frontal brain has shut down, and they cannot control these outbursts at times. OP. His father has left him behind with a virtual stranger for a month. I'm sorry, what? His father left him with me. A skull bearer. Jesus Christ, the brains on this one. OP. Alright, I had enough of you. You have been replying rudely to every single comment of mine. I am blocking you, as it's obvious that we cannot have any civil conversation. Ujisajako. I can't wait for the 5-year update post, where the stepson has completely cut you out of his life, and you're surprised you're not allowed anywhere near him. OP. I know you are being ironic, but you guys can beg me all you want, because I will never be posting another update because of the way things are going. Second story. OP's 1-month-old daughter died due to her own vomit, and he blames himself as he fell asleep and didn't tell his wife. I am 25 and my wife F24 had our daughter Angela last year in November. We met at university, we dated for 2 years, and we got married after graduating. It's our first marriage, and we are very much in love. My wife, whom we will call Kim, got pregnant during our honeymoon, and we were both very excited. My parents are out of the picture, and Kim only grew up with her dad. We both knew that we wanted to have children and give them the best life we could. Kim's pregnancy was normal. It was our first child. The baby was born healthy and beautiful. She had perfect chubby legs and a round face. I never thought that one day I could love a woman more than I love Kim, but my daughter stole my heart completely. Everything was perfect, but we were very nervous. Since we didn't know anything about babies, Kim's father constantly called us and also gave me advice. My grandmother also taught us how to change her correctly and feed her. We were blessed with a lot of help. Kim's family came from their home country to meet our daughter for Christmas. They were going to stay until the new year, but on December 28th, Kim's father had a heart attack and was taken to the emergency room. We went to the hospital, and my father-in-law had to remain under observation since his condition was serious. To give you an idea, he might not wake up again. I told my wife that I would stay with her, but Kim asked me to go with Angela home. Whatever had to happen would happen in the next 24 hours. She didn't want to leave her father's side, but she didn't want to leave the baby at the hospital all night. We agreed that I would stay at home with Angela, and she would stay at home with her father and her relatives at the hospital. The next 24 hours passed, and my father-in-law began to improve, so the stay was extended to 48 hours or 72. Kim came to get some clothes and see our daughter, and she returned to the hospital. Due to her concern, I had not slept in those 2 days, so after giving her bottle to my daughter, I put her to sleep, and I myself fell asleep. When I woke up, it was almost night. Angela was still asleep, so I decided to have coffee and watch television. After 2 hours, I decided to check on her, and she seemed asleep. However, my heart stopped when I realized that she had vomited, and when I picked her up, she was cold and wasn't breathing. I panicked. I shook her, I patted her on the back, and I just desperately wanted her to breathe again. I called an ambulance, begging for help, and the operator gave me instructions to do CPR. When the doctors arrived, we immediately went to the hospital. I called Kim, and between my mess of tears and hyperventilation, I tried to tell her what was happening. When we arrived, she was already there. Kim cried and screamed at the doctors, begging them to save her. I did too. They did everything they could for about an hour, but in the end, there was nothing to do. My baby died at only a month old. They explained to us that Angela had vomited while she was sleeping and choked on her own vomit. She tried to calm us down by explaining that this can happen and that it wasn't our fault. Kim and I are a mess. I haven't told her that I fell asleep while my daughter was dying. I haven't told her that I killed my daughter. I want to end all of this. I can't continue with this. I miss her. I want to hear her crying. I want to have her in my arms. I want to change her diapers. I want to change her clothes. I want to hug her with all my strength. I want to see her. I miss her so much. I hate myself so much. It should be me and not her. It's my damn fault. I want all this pain. It's over. I want to end everything. AITA has no consensus button, but the OP was NTA and advised to receive therapy or counseling. Comments. Stoked for breakfast. Not the arsehole. I'm a doctor. This does happen, not just to children, but also to old adults who aren't able to adequately manage their own secretions, etc. See a therapist and a psychiatrist. Both are better than just one, and you'll get through it. You're not the arsehole at all. Sometimes bad things happen. It sucks. Maramoose 9-23. Now, please get grief counseling. This is not your fault. Even if you and your wife weren't dealing with a family emergency, and even if you weren't exhausted, your darling baby could have passed in exactly the same way during the night or a nap. Even the doctor told you that it wasn't your fault. Like any other parent, you feel responsible for what happened. That's natural, so please get therapy. If not for yourself, think of your wife. How would she cope with losing both you and your daughter? Also, encourage your wife to get therapy. She's hurting as much as you are. Update. 2 months later. Hello AITA. I came here a few months ago to vent about the loss of my daughter. To be honest, I didn't see the post until a week later, and I saw that my account was suspended. It's not important since it was just a discard account, so I opened another one just to let you know that I have read all your comments. Kim and I don't think we are fine, but we are in the process of being fine. Kim is also an active Reddit user and saw my post. We talked a lot, we cried, and I have to say I'm glad she saw it. Since Angela is not with us, I have spent most of the time in her room, and Kim returned to work very quickly since she no longer needed maternity leave. But our therapist gave us a lot of advice on how to deal with grief. I have been diagnosed with depression, and I'm working on it with the help of Kim. She's also in therapy. We support each other in every way we can. My father-in-law is as well as he can be. He recovered, but he hasn't been well since we told him about Angela. Kim calls him practically every day. She can't do much more since he lives in another country, and it's already difficult enough for ourselves. Right now, we are looking to sell our house and move to a smaller place. We bought the house thinking about having a big family, but we are going to postpone that for the moment. No matter how broken I am inside, my wife is my priority right now, so I have to prioritize my marriage. I will not update again. I wanted to assure all the noble souls who supported us that we are still here, and that we appreciate your words and support. You are all wonderful people. God bless you. Third story. The entitled fiancé acts as the breadwinner while OP pays for the bills and humiliates him for making less money in front of her sister. So he exposes her to the whole family, only to find out she lied about paying his student and card debts when he had none. So OP calls off the wedding. My fiancé and I moved in together shortly before we got engaged. Before we did, we discussed how we'd split the housework and bills. 50-50 down the middle, with some wiggle room for when the other needs help. When we moved, it was into her parents' 2-story garage, which they converted into basically an apartment. They offered a low rent $700 total and pitched in for the electric and internet, so we could save money for our own place and wedding. My fiancé earns more than me, and that's cool. I'm proud of her. Before we moved in together, it always seemed like she was living paycheck to paycheck, and I chalked it up to the apartment she had prior, which had insanely high rent. She stuck to the 50-50 arrangement at first concerning bills, but she missed it often, and I had to remind her about it. Post-engagement, she's back to living paycheck to paycheck, either missing or very late with her part of the rent monthly, the 2 utilities we pay, groceries, and her car payment. Her parents have talked to me multiple times about rent, and I've covered her missing portion to get us caught up, and then try talking to her. It always turns into her saying we should just move if her parents are going to hound us. I told her we're lucky it's her parents because anywhere else would have kicked our asses out. On top of that, I pay my own bills, do about 65% housework, arrange and pay for most of our dates and vacations, buy gifts for her, and pay most towards our pets. I've suggested a financial coach, but what kicks me is that whenever we're around others, she boasts about being the breadwinner since she earns more. She goes on about the stresses of being the main source of income, and all the hours she has to work to pay all our bills. I was letting it slide until a few days ago, when we were at a get-together. She and her sister started up again about her being the breadwinner. Her sister said something to the effect that her ex-boyfriend had a hard time being with someone who earned more, and my fiancé went, "Good thing OP doesn't mind me bringing home the pay." I told her that just because she earns more doesn't make her the breadwinner when she blows it all on herself, and I'm paying most of the bills. She's embarrassed now and keeps saying I made her look bad and got her in trouble with her parents because they want to see what she spends her money on each month. But I don't think I did anything wrong. AITA update. Last night, I was ready to just postpone the engagement, but as of this morning, after a lot of talking and things coming to light, we are broken up. Thank you to everyone for their responses and input, especially those who encouraged looking deeper. Quick summary. She felt a joint account would impede her financial independence. She insisted we could afford her purchases based on our total incomes. Her parents were under the impression she was also paying off my student loans, my car, my phone, and paying for our vacations. She didn't get evicted from her last apartment, but she was late with her rent often enough that they weren't going to renew her lease. So she didn't suggest we move to a bigger apartment at her building. The biggest nope I'm out was the monthly take-home amount she told me was what she earned before wage garnishment kicked in addition to mass debt. She's been doing some online stuff to make up for the money she loses due to that. Yes, I got the ring back. Again, thank you to everyone. But I will not be responding to any more comments. I'm going to go take some time for myself and get SHT figured it out. Edit. OP provides more detail in his comments. Some relevant details. Their ages. I'm 34, she's 36. Her online stuff for money is cam girl work. When asked what she was spending money on, she said, car accessories, eating lunch out at work, home decor, electronics, hair and skin products. She has packages coming almost daily. Their income. She makes between $115 and $125K per year. 7 and 10K take home a month. I make roughly $80,000 a year. She spent her money frivolously. Parents' knowledge of her past fiscal irresponsibility. Yes, as it turned out, when she was 16, they bought her a car with the agreement that she'd pay for her gas and the insurance portion, less than $100. She would blow through her paycheck and allowance before paying, always needing gas money. She wrecked that car and agreed to pay her friend's mom for her used car. I paid half, never paid again, and then wrecked that car. Her parents did put her in touch with a financial planner back then, but she wouldn't cooperate. When she moved out and didn't lose her apartment, her parents thought she might have changed. It also turns out she has a history of being late with rent wherever she's lived, and when it was her on her own, her leases wouldn't be renewed. A whole lot of SHD came to light last night when I tried to talk to her, telling her that I was canceling the engagement until she got her SHD sorted, and talked to a therapist got her to share a lot of details and just wage garnishment debt, lying to her parents about paying all my expenses, some expenses that I don't even have, cam girl work to make up what she loses to wage garnishment. Her parents have apologized and told her to stay in their house until I've moved out. They were nice and are renting a U-Haul for me for today and tomorrow to go stay with my brother for a while until I find a new place. Her lies to her parents about expenses. Yeah, had a talk with her father late last night after they overheard her shouting. It turns out she told her parents she was paying my student loans, that I don't even have my phone, my car, and our vacations. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.